explore music a bit more. I wanted to bring in more elements of music, folk, classical music even.
Some musicians grow into greatness, but Steve Winwood? He started there. A teenager with a 40-year-old soul, hands on a Hammond organ like he'd already lived a lifetime. While most kids were learning chords, Winwood was shaping sounds that didn't even exist yet. In this video, we're diving into the 7 albums that didn't just inspire him, they formed him. The records that turned a prodigy into a master. And trust me, by the end, you'll hear music differently too. Before fame, before traffic, before blind faith, Winwood was already living inside music. Blues, classical, jazz, soul. He didn't separate genres. He absorbed them. He blended them. He translated them into something completely his own. So let's break down the 7 albums that shaped his evolution. Not in the order the world knew them, but in the order they transformed him. Number 7. Booker T and the MGs, Green Onions. Before Winwood became the organ monster we know, he studied the blueprint, Booker T. Green Onions wasn't flashy, it wasn't complicated, it was groove. Pure, unstoppable groove. The Hammond B3 on that record didn't just support the band, it led the band. And Winwood listened closely. How Booker T pulled those drawbars, how the bass, drums, and guitar locked in, how the organ stayed raw but controlled. Winwood didn't copy that sound. He built on it. Songs like Gimme Some Lovin' exist because Booker T showed him the organ could be the hero. Number 6. Muddy Waters, folk singer. This is where Winwood learned one of his biggest lessons. Power isn't volume, it's presence. Muddy Waters unplugged, sitting with just his voice and acoustic guitar. No amps, no effects, just truth. The notes were few but perfect. The feeling, heavy. The honesty, unmatched. Winwood carried that with him forever. Music hits hardest when the emotion is real. Number 5. The Beatles, Revolver. When Winwood heard Revolver, his whole musical world widened. Backwards guitars, tape loops, haunting string sections. The Beatles were showing what recording could be, not what it had been. Revolver told Winwood, experimentation isn't a risk. It's evolution. This album gave Winwood the courage to leave the successful Spencer Davis Group and form Traffic. Because great musicians don't stay safe, they grow. Number 4. John Coltrane, A Love Supreme. This wasn't just an album. It was devotion. Discipline. Prayer. Coltrane didn't play notes, he searched through them. And Winwood understood instantly, music can be spiritual. Improvisation can be meditation. Playing can be a form of reaching for something higher. Traffic's long, soulful improvised jams. You're hearing Coltrane's influence echoing through Winwood's hands. Number 3. Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. Then came the album that made time slow down. Kind of Blue taught Winwood the beauty of space. The power of leaving room between notes. Miles played soft but hit deep. Coltrane searched. Bill Evans floated. This was freedom in sound. Winwood realized, you don't always need complexity. Sometimes the emotion is strongest when you strip everything down and just feel. Number 2. Ray Charles, the genius of Ray Charles. Ray Charles didn't just sing. He commanded. He blended gospel, jazz, blues, and pop into one unstoppable force. For young Steve Winwood, this album wasn't inspiration, it was direction. Ray's piano had the fire of blues and the elegance of jazz. His voice had grit and beauty at the same time. Ray Charles taught Winwood the art of balance. Soulful yet polished. Raw yet refined. Crafted yet natural. Winwood didn't try to imitate Ray, he tried to understand what Ray understood. Album number 1. Traffic. Mr. Fantasy, 1967. When Steve Winwood called Mr. Fantasy one of the most defining albums of his life, he wasn't choosing it because his name was on the cover. He chose it because the album captures the exact moment he became Steve Winwood, the artist, not just the prodigy. A band built on chemistry, not ego. Traffic wasn't a group of musicians looking for fame. It was four young artists, Winwood, Jim Capaldi, Chris Wood, and Dave Mason, retreating to a cottage in Berkshire, far from London's chaos, far from expectations. They didn't rent a fancy studio. They lived together, ate together, argued, jammed, and stayed up until dawn chasing sounds that didn't exist yet. That cottage became their laboratory. Music didn't just happen there. It arrived. Sound that didn't belong to any one genre. Mr. Fantasy didn't fit any category, and that's the magic of it. It was psychedelia from the new underground scene. Jazz impulses flowing freely in improvisation, soul from Winwood's voice. Folk storytelling, rock rhythms, blues textures, and English whimsy mixed with raw, emotional grit. Nothing was off limits. If it sounded interesting, they kept going. If it felt wrong, they went further. This was the first time Winwood wasn't trying to fit someone else's style. He was discovering his own. The title track, a prayer wrapped in psychedelia. Dear Mr. Fantasy, is the emotional center of the album. Capaldi wrote the lyrics after doodling in a sketchbook. Winwood sat at the organ, shaping chords that felt like longing itself. What started as a simple melody grew into a hypnotic, swirling plea. Dear Mr. Fantasy, play us a tune. It's a cry for escape, for healing, for music to take the weight off the world. And Winwood's voice doesn't sing it, he carries it. Every crack, every stretch of his notes sounds like someone begging music to save them. The organ rises. The guitar cries. The whole band locks into a slow, emotional storm. Even decades later, musicians say this song feels alive, as if it breathes with you. These 7 albums didn't just influence Steve Winwood. They built him. They taught him soul, groove, courage, improvisation, and freedom. His style, effortless yet deep, youthful yet wise, came from years of listening, absorbing, and transforming the music he loved. So here's the question. Which of these albums do you think shaped him the most? Drop your answer in the comments. If you love stories that dig deep into the artists who shaped music history, hit that subscribe button. This is Rock Fame Diaries, and we'll see you in the next one.